If your business should be profitable and you are not seeing the profit, it is highly possible that you are making one of these mistakes and it is quietly killing your profit. Now, we will be looking at 5 mistakes that are common among small businesses. Why do these mistakes happen? And the impact they are having on your business. In order for us to remedy these mistakes, we need to learn how to set up a simple expense log. And how do we review our expenses on a daily basis so we stop these money leaks? For your record, the topic is how to track business expenses daily. The first mistake is not recording your transactions. Why is it that you do not record your transactions? Because you are busy serving your customers. And yes, sometimes you do feel overwhelmed, but this is having a negative impact on your business because now you have no clarity and the actual cost that your business is incurring. Thus, you're operating blindly and you cannot calculate your true profit. If you look on the formula for profit, it is income minus expense equal to profit. Your expenses plays a very important role in the profit that you report in your business. You can be doing well in sales and your income can be high, but if you are not managing your expenses, it is going to deplete your profit. So, managing your expenses is very, very important for your small business. The second mistake that we will be looking at is recording your transactions days later. Why is it that you record your transactions later? Because you assume that you will remember, but that is often not the case because you cannot rely on your memory. Another reason why you record later is because you often postpone your admin work because it feels less urgent than making sales and dealing with your customers. Also, it is having a negative impact on your business because now you're over or underestimating your expenses because you forgot the transactions and also because you are missing your receipts. The third mistake, ignoring small purchases. Why? Because these small purchases really feel insignificant in the moment. But what happens is that you underestimate the power of accumulation. These expenses tend to add up quickly because they are repeated daily. The impact, it is quietly shrinking your profit margin. The fourth mistake is overspending. Why do you overspend as a business owner? Sometimes the business owner is trying to look successful. On the other hand, revenue sometimes create this false sense of comfort, so business owners feel safe spending. But we need to take into consideration the impact that it is having on the business. There is pressure on the cash flow, and oftentimes these expenses exceed what the business can sustain. When there is low cash flow, it pushes the business owner into debt accumulation because now you need to get a loan in order to sustain the business, and this causes additional stress. Number five, mixing personal and business money. Why? There is no financial boundaries between the business and the owner. Oftentimes, we hear small business owners saying, "It is my money and it is my business." So they spend the business money on personal needs. Another reason is that there are no separate bank accounts for the business from that of the owner. The impact that these are having on your business is that the true performance of your business cannot be measured. And again, in order for you to make a profit, your expenses need to be lower than your income. Listen to this very carefully. You oftentimes don't have a profit problem, you have a visibility problem. This is because you are not seeing clearly where your money is going. But in order for you to start seeing visible, you need to start recording every expense consistent. When you are recording your expenses, you need to have one place where you are recording everything. Either you will be using for your log a notebook, or you will be utilizing a Excel sheet or your phone notes. If you are more advanced in your business and you have a accounting software in place, then this is very good. What we need to see happening is the utilization of one record in your business. And please do not rely on your memory. Your memory fails. This is an example of an expense log for a retail business. At the top of the page, we have the date February 21. We have four columns: the name of the expense or the name of the person that we are purchasing from. We have the second column, which is the purpose of the expense. The third column is the cash expenses, and the fourth column, the digital expenses. And of course, we know that the digital expenses are for our credit card, our debit card, wire transfers, and our mobile app expenses. I want us to think of a typical day in our business. And we're going to look at some transactions that might occur. And we're going to look at how simple it is for us to record each transaction as we go throughout the day. Now, let's say before you start doing anything on February 21, you decided that you are going to pay your shop rent. Now, the name of your landlord is Edward Jones. Now, in your first column, under name, you will put Edward Jones. The purpose of this payment is shop rent, and you will be paying him by bank transfer. Now it is recorded under the column digital. At about 10 o'clock, you get a report that your main water pipe is broken. And of course, you need to send to get some plumbing fittings. So your record will say plumbing fittings, that is the item that you purchased. Why did you purchase it? To fix main water pipe, and you paid $2,000 cash for those fittings. Now we want to record the name of the item, but also we need to record the purpose, because oftentimes when we spend money, we do not remember what is it for that we really spend that money. So we need to make record so we can track each expense. At about 3 o'clock, you remember that your son needs a shoe. What a lot of small business owners do is that they will take the money from the business. Now, if you are taking money from the business for your personal use, you need to record this as drawings. And this is a accounting term for money taken by the business owner for personal use. So under name, you record drawings, and then you will put the purpose. You purchase your son shoes, and you purchase it for $7,000 cash. At 5 o'clock, the end of the day, you're going to be paying your staff, Latoya Evans, her week's salary. And of course, you will be sending a transfer to her bank account, $19,000. Also, at the end of the day, you will be doing a quick check to see how many stock that you need to start operation the next day. And of course, you will be sending to Maze Wholesale to purchase stock for $30,000. At the end of the day, I want you to check your cash column That is $39,000 in expenses that you pay in cash from your cash till, and from your bank account you spend $54,000. What I want you to realize is that you are not constantly writing in your expense book. You are about doing your daily activities, but during intervals you will stop to make a purchase. When you make that purchase, spend 1 minute to record it in your expense logbook. So, what are the best practices when it comes to tracking your expenses? You need to obtain receipts for all your purchases, all your expenses, as much as is possible. Record as soon as you spend and keep your receipts in a file. Too often, your receipts are in too many places. Some are in the desk drawer, some are in the vehicle, some are in the bags. But no, keep your receipts in one place. Also, you should know that receipts may fade. And from time to time, you realize that those receipts that you receive from the POS machine, let's say you go to the supermarket and you get those receipts, you will realize that within a week or two, those receipts fade. What I want you to put into practice is to have a copy of those receipts before they fade so you can have them for your records. A very important point here is low profit is often an expense problem and not a sales problem. Therefore, we need to be paying keen attention to our expenses. And in order for us to review our expenses and to keep abreast of how much we are spending, we need to be asking ourselves some probing questions. What are some questions that we can ask ourselves when we make our purchases or before we make our purchases? I want you to be able to ask yourself these questions. Was this purchase necessary? When you think of what you have just purchased, is it that you could do without purchasing this item? Was it really necessary? Could you have saved this money in your business? Another question is, was it planned for? Sometimes the things that we call emergencies are not really emergencies. And if it was not planned for, it means that sometimes this purchase can be delayed. Another question is, can the cost be reduced? Is it that you can get this item at a cheaper cost? Is it that you can get a substitute that can give you the same result at a cheaper cost? Is it that you can do bulk purchasing so you can get it at a reduced cost? All these are questions that business owners needs to be actively asking themselves. In order for you to be on top of your expenses, you have to have a probing mindset. How do you implement what you have learned from this lesson in your business? The first step is to get a expense log, either a notebook or your Excel sheet. And I want you to continuously use it in your business. And of course, review your expenses so you can start realizing more profit in your business. If this lesson was helpful to you, I want you to subscribe, I want you to like, and of course, I want you to share with a fellow business owner. Until our next lesson, take care. God bless you.